guys, and welcome back to my channel. So the last time we discussed the atomic term symbols with respect to the first D transition series. In case you all have not watched that video, then please go ahead, watch it and then come back to this because this is a follow-up. So in the previous video, we discussed the ground state term symbols for first row transition series, and I told you how do you find the number of microstates. Okay, so today what we are going to do is that we are going to discuss the ground state term. Along with that, we are also going to discuss the other terms. Okay, other terms as in the excited terms which are present, and then what we will do is we will accommodate the number of microstates. Okay, so how is this number 10 or how is this number 45? Okay, all of that we are going to discuss in today's video. Also, the last part of the video will deal with how do you determine which is the ground state term symbol. Like for example, for any exam, you all are given a set of term symbols. Okay, so you are given a set of term symbols maybe for D2. Okay, you have 4 options. How do you determine which is going to be the ground state term symbol? So all of that we shall discuss in today's video. Okay, so talking about this particular table, you can pick it up from any standard inorganic chemistry reference book. Okay, last time we'll just go through. Okay, we started with all of these configurations. Okay, from D1 ranging to D10. Another important thing that I told you all is Dn and D10 minus n. These are going to have a similar ground state term symbol. Okay, they are going to have similar ground state term symbol. They are going to have similar number of microstates as well. Also the other terms which are present. Okay, other terms, what do you mean by the word other terms? I'm trying to say the excited terms. Okay, the terms which have a higher energy. Fine. So for Dn and D10 minus n, the ground state term symbol, the number of microstates and the excited term symbols, all of these are going to be same. That's what I told you is the beauty. You have to just know your ground state term symbol till D5. Okay, and then I gave you all a little trick also wherein you can find out within 30 seconds the ground state term symbol. Okay, now last time we discussed how do you find the number of microstates. There was a formula for it, n factorial upon e factorial into n minus e factorial. Okay, so this was the formula. You all can go and see, watch that video and then come back as well. Okay, now let's just go through this table. Let's just try to analyze the data that is given to us and what do we actually understand from the data that is provided. Okay, we have Dn, so these are our configurations. Yeah, after that we have the ground state term symbol. Each configuration has only one ground state term symbol. Okay, always remember that. Next, we have the number of microstates. Okay, so D1 has 10 microstates, D2 has 45. And how do we calculate the number of microstates? Using this particular formula. Okay, the next thing that we come to is the excited states which are present. Okay, now what you have to understand is that the relation between your ground state and the excited state is basically going to talk about the transitions that you're going to get. Okay, transition is a shift of an electron from a lower energy orbital to a high energy orbital. Okay, so here we see that we do not have any excited term. Yeah, we only have one ground state term symbol, that is D2. Okay, for D1 electronic configuration. Talking about D2, we have 3F as a ground state term symbol and the other terms, as in there are 4 excited terms which are present. Okay, then we come to next D3, 4F and then hence forward D4 and henceforward. Okay, now the first thing that I will talk about is how do you assign the number of microstates. Okay, what does the number say? 10 microstates or 45 microstates. What does it mean to us? Fine. Now, how do you assign the number of microstates is, number of microstates means nothing but it is related to the ground state and the excited state terms that you have. Fine. How do you find the number of microstates, okay, which are present? Suppose you are given the data wherein the term symbols are given to you all. Okay, the term symbols are given to you all. You do not know the configuration. Fine, consider this example. You do not know if it is D1, D2 or D3. If you do not know which configuration it is, you cannot use this particular formula because your N is your maximum occupancy. So you have to know whether it is D orbital or F orbital. E is the number of electrons accommodated, so D1, D2, D3, all of that. So if that information is not given to you all, how do you find the number of microstates? Okay, provided one condition, the ground state and all the terms. So maybe they have given you a combination of all the terms which are present. So using that information, how do you find the number of microstates? Okay, so that we will discuss now. How do you find the number of microstates? It's very simple. You only have to multiply your m value, okay, this particular value, that is your 2s plus 1 value, with the number of orbitals present for that particular L. Okay, what was it? What was your atomic term symbol? MLJ. Okay, J we are not considering, so we simplify it to M and L. Okay, your number of microstates basically depends on your M and L. So what you have to do is that you simply have to multiply these values. Okay, the value of M that is directly given to us. Okay, and the number of orbitals which are present. Fine. So that's why I have put down this table over here. The number of orbitals which are present for D, they are going to be, this is your L value. Okay, this is your L value, and this is the orbitals which are present. Okay, so this is your L value, this is the orbitals which are present. So here you have D. Okay, D, the L value is going to be 2. The number of orbitals which are present is 5. Okay, what do I mean by orbitals? This particular. So you have D, XY, D, YZ, D, XZ. Then you have D, X square minus Y square, and D, Z square. Okay, so you simply have to multiply these two numbers and you will get the total number of microstates. As simple as that. Okay, let's solve for a few. Let's take the first case. We have 2D. 2D means 2 into 5. Okay, the number of orbitals present for D are 5, which corresponds to 10. Okay, is that clear? Now let's go ahead. Now the calculations will be a bit of more, okay, a bit confusing, but we'll do it. Fine. So here what do we have? 3F. So 3 into F orbitals are 7. Okay, so 3 into 7. This will be 3 into 3. Try to understand it very slowly. I'm solving this entire configuration with you. Okay, so 3 into 3. P is going to have 3 orbitals. Okay, the next is 1 into 9. G has 9 orbitals. Okay, now orbitals and the occupancy are two different things. For example, F, the number of orbitals is 7, but the total occupancy is going to be 14. Okay, so just remember that. Fine. Again, we have D over here. So D is going to be 5. So 1 into 5. Okay, and S is 1. So 1 into 1. Is that clear? 3 into 7, 3 into 3, 1 into 9, 1 into 5, 1 into 1. Let's total it out. So we have 3 into 7, 21 plus 9 plus 9 plus 5 plus 1. Okay, so what do we have? 21 plus 18. So this one will be 19 plus 5. Okay, so now you can calculate it. It's very easy. Directly your answer is going to be 45. Okay, so you can do the tally. It's going to be very simple if you want to still know how it is. So what do I have over here? 0, I have 4, and then 5. I'm going to get 45. Okay, so as simple as that. That is how you're going to get the total number of orbitals. Sorry, the total number of microstates. Okay, let's try for this one also. I will show you the calculation part. Of course, the answer is going to come to 120. Okay, fine. First we have 4 into F. F is going to be 7. Okay, 4 into 3. Okay, now what is the value of H? H is 11 orbitals. Okay, H is 11 orbitals. So 2 into 11. G is 9. So 2 into 9. F is 7. Okay, now for D3 we have 2 D2 orbitals. Okay, as in we have 2 D2 term states. So 2 into, what is this going to be? 2 into 5. Okay, so 2 into 10 that is going to be, and the last one is going to be 2 into 3. If you check this, the total is going to come as 1. Sorry, the total will come as 120. Okay, you can calculate and see. Fine. Similarly, for D4, you will have an extensive amount of calculation, but you can check. Again here, 2 times 3F, 2 times 3P, 2 times 1G, 2 times 1D. So all of that you have to consider. Okay. Then we have D5. And then for D6, D7 and D8, it is going to be repeat. Okay. So D6 will be similar as D4. D7 will be similar as D3. And D8 will be similar as D2. Okay. For D9 and D10, we do not have any higher terms. Okay. There is only 1. Over here also we can solve it. We will have 2 into 5, so that is 10, and here we'll have 1 into 1, that is 1. Okay, Earlier I had said we look for the type of relationship between your excited terms and the ground state term. What we have to look for are the number of transitions. Okay. Now, for number of transition, there is a rule wherein your delta S has to be 0. Okay. You have these Laporte forbidden spin selectivity rules. So I won't go much into detail. If you all want a video, I can perhaps make one on that also. Okay. So here we are not considering the Laporte rule, but we are considering the spin selectivity rule. Okay. So for a transition to happen, delta S has to be 0. That means the spin number should not change. Okay. What do you mean by the spin number? This number on top. Okay. The 2s plus 1 number has to be same. Fine. So here of course we cannot have any transition because there are no higher terms available. Here we are going to have a transition. So there will be from 3f to 3p. Okay. Because this number over here has to be same. Okay, so these are going to be the allowed transition. Here also we'll have from 4f to 4p. Okay, but in the case of D4 and in the case of D5, we are not going to have any transitions. Okay, so D4 is 5d and we do not have 5 as a spin number anywhere. Similarly, in D5 we have 6s. Here also we do not have 6 anywhere. So both of these type of configurations are going to show forbidden. Okay, so moving on to the last part of the video, I'll try to be really quick but also hope that you all will understand. Okay, so how do we find out which is going to be a ground state term symbol? I have taken the example of D3. Okay, you can try it with any, you can try it with D2 or you can try it with D4 as well. Okay, I'm going to pick D3. Okay, in D3 I have 4F, 4P, 2H, 2G, 2F, twice 2D and I have 2P. Okay. I have a question wherein maybe I'm given 4 options. I have 4P, 4F, 2H and 2G and I'm supposed to identify the ground state term symbol. So how do you do it? Now all of this is based on Hund's rule. Okay, there are 3 rules that we have to follow. Hund's first rule depends on Hund's first rule, second rule and third rule. Okay, so the first rule is that we have to select the highest 2s plus 1 value. Okay, the microstate which has a highest 2s plus value is going to be a ground state term symbol. Okay, highest 2s plus 1 value, that means it is going to have lowest energy and the ground state term symbol is supposed to have lowest energy, okay, compared to the excited state. Fine. So if I look at all of these, I have 2 options, 4p and 4f. Okay, both of them they are having the 2s plus value as 4. Okay, so if I was given 4 options, I have eliminated 2 of my options and now I am left with these 2. So either the ground state term symbol can be 4f or it can be 4p. I do not know because I have used my first rule which suggests you have to pick the highest 2s plus 1. Okay. After that, if you have 2 options, how do you narrow it down? You pick the highest L value. This is based on Hund's second rule. Okay. You pick the highest L value, that is your orbital angular momentum, quantum number. Okay. So 4f and 4p. F is what? What is it? F is, L value for F is 3. Okay. And L value for P is what? Oh, I have already written over there. L value for P is 1. Okay. So S, P, D, F. Okay. So F is going to be 3 and P is going to be 1. So this is going to be my ground state term symbol. So I have now eliminated 4p as well. Okay. So now I know 4f is going to be my ground state term symbol. Okay. So what do? I look for the highest value of 2s plus 1, this particular number over here. If at all I have 2 options, okay, or if I have 3 choices or whatever, then I go for the highest L value. Okay, for that I have to know that S is 0, P is 1, D is 2, 3 is F and henceforth. Okay, fine. Is that clear? Another thing that you can do also is that arrange the atomic term symbols on the basis of energy. Okay, starting with ground state. So that's why this is going to be lowest energy. Then there will be 4p. Then you have to decide between 2h and 2g. So again 2h is going to be lower in energy. Again because h is going to have a higher L value, then 2g, then 2f, then 2d and then last would be 2p. If there was any term with s, then s would have come after d. Okay, so it depends on the 2s plus 1 value and it depends on the L value. Okay, fine. Now, the third Hund's rule helps us to determine the J value. Okay, so I told you your atomic term symbol is MLJ. Okay, and j is nothing but it ranges between absolute value of L minus S to absolute value of L plus S. Okay, now let's try to find out for our ground state term symbol. So what do I have? 4f, right? 4f. So my 2s plus 1, what is the value? 4. Okay, so the spin is going to be, how do I calculate? This is for which? So 3 electrons. So this is going to be 3 by 2. Okay, right. I hope you all understand. 2s plus 1 is 2 into 3 by 2 plus 1, which is going to give me 4. So 4 is actually the m value. I need to, this s over here, sorry, this has to be an absolute value. This s over here represents the spin. Okay, so the spin is 3 by 2. So I will write here m is 3 by 2. And what is L? L is 3. Okay, so for my calculation's sake, 3 I can put it as 6 by 2. Okay, so it's going to cancel and give you 3 itself. So j will be what now? What will I have? 6 by 2 minus 3 by 2 absolute value ranges to 6 by 2 plus 3 by 2. Okay, so what is that going to come up to? This is going to be 6 minus 3. So 3 by 2 to 9 by 2. So this particular range are going to be my j values. So my j values can be 3 by 2, 5 by 2, 7 by 2 and 9 by 2. I hope you all understood. I'll just repeat it. J value is a range, okay, between absolute value of L minus S to L plus S. Okay, L is your orbital, so you find it using that particular table. S is the spin. Okay, S is not your m value. M is equal to 2s plus 1. You're looking out for that S, which depends on the number of unpaired electrons. So here there are 3, so it is going to be 3 by 2. Okay, so I substituted. So this is going to be my range. So from 3 by 2 to 9 by 2, or starting from 3 by 2 to 9 by 2, I'm going to have 4 values of J. So I'll have 3 by 2, 5 by 2, 7 by 2 and 9 by 2. Now, out of these 4 values, which is going to be my ground state term symbol? So if I have to represent it, it will be 4f, 3 by 2. This is your entire term symbol. Okay, 4f, 5 by 2. Then I'll have 4f, 7 by 2. And I'll have 4f, 9 by 2. Okay, so this is how your term symbols are going to look. Out of these terms, which is going to be your J, which is going to be your ground state term symbol, depends on the third Hund's rule, wherein third Hund's rule is a bit different from the first two. From the first two, we look out for the highest value, but in the third rule, we look out for the lowest value. So the lowest value of J is going to be your ground state term symbol. So obviously the lowest value over here is 3 by 2. So this entirely completes your MLJ ground state term symbol for D3. Okay. So only the third Hund's rule is a bit different. Instead of considering the highest value, we are looking for the lowest value. So I'll repeat, highest value of 2s plus 1, highest value of L. But lastly, we are looking for lowest value of J. Okay, I hope that was clear to you all. You can try similar method for D2. You can try it for D4 as well. Okay, so I hope you all understood and this video was beneficial to you all. In case you all did like my video, then give my video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and happy learning.